Once upon a time, in a village nestled between towering mountains, there lived a wise old potter named Alira. Her pottery was famous across the land, not because it was the most beautiful or the most intricately designed, but because each piece told a story. People would come from far and wide, seeking her pottery for more than just function. They sought wisdom. One day, a young man named Rowan visited Alira. He was troubled, weighed down by the hardships of life and the many paths he could not decide between. "Master Alira," Rowan said, "I am lost. I don't know what my purpose is or what path to take. Every choice feels wrong, every door closed." Alira smiled softly and motioned for Rowan to follow her into her workshop. The room was filled with half-formed pots, some cracked, others still on the wheel. In the center of the room stood a large kiln, glowing with heat. Alira handed Rowan a lump of clay and said, "Make something." Rowan hesitated, unsure of what to create, but under her gentle gaze he began to shape the clay. At first, his hands fumbled, and the clay collapsed again and again. Frustrated, Rowan wiped his brow and looked at Alira. "I don't know what I'm doing," he admitted. "Good," Alira replied. "Keep going." Rowan persisted, and after a while he managed to form a simple bowl. It wasn't perfect, but it held its shape. He looked up at Alira, expecting her approval. "Now, place it in the kiln," she instructed. Rowan did as he was told, and as the kiln roared to life, he watched through the small window, expecting the bowl to harden into something useful. But to his surprise, as the heat intensified, cracks began to form. The bowl collapsed under the pressure. Disappointed, Rowan turned to Alira. "I failed." Alira shook her head. "No, you haven't. Let me show you something." She led him to a corner of the workshop, where shelves lined the walls. On each shelf sat pots and bowls, but they were all imperfect. Some were cracked, others were misshapen. Alira picked up a cracked vase and held it out to Rowan. "This vase, like your bowl, cracked in the kiln. I could have thrown it away, but instead, I mended it with gold." Rowan looked closer and saw that the cracks were filled with shimmering gold, transforming the vase into something far more beautiful than if it had been flawless. "This is the art of kintsugi," Alira explained. "When something is broken, we repair it with gold. The cracks are not hidden, but highlighted, for they tell a story of resilience and transformation." Rowan was silent for a long moment. "So you're saying I shouldn't fear failure?" Alira smiled. "Life, like clay, will crack and crumble, but it's in the mending, in the rebuilding of ourselves, that we find our true strength. The gold is not just in the repair, but in the wisdom gained from the breaking." Rowan left the workshop that day, still uncertain of the path before him, but with a deeper understanding of himself. He realized that life's hardships and his own imperfections were not barriers. They were the very materials from which his purpose would be shaped. The cracks in his journey would one day be filled with gold. And so as he walked out of the village, he knew that no matter what path he chose, the beauty of his life would lie not in its perfection, but in the way he embraced and mended the imperfections along the way.